going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're over here for the Pirate Alliance Blitz battle versus the Navy against Garp and Sengoku for the very first Global Pirate Alliance Blitz battle. For JP players, they have the same thing, obviously with the sync, but they already know the rundown here. So basically how this works is the Blitz battle, but your alliance will gather together, get all their points, and in today's video, I have 5 teams for you guys to take down this particular event. The first team uses free-to-play subs and Oden as a captain. The next 4 teams are all fully boosted teams, where the first 3 don't actually use any of the new batch, any of the new legends, and then the final team is that big old Quailan team that just uses everything. But basically, the moral of the story here is just bring a friend, Woger, whatever you want to call him, Whitebeard and Roger. I call him Woger. I know a lot of people call him like Robert and Goldbeard, all that sort of stuff. Big shout out to chat as well. We are over here streaming. As long as you bring a friend Woger, let me know what you guys call him in chat too, by the way. Spam that now. But big shout out to chat. Big shout out to the people that are over here on stream. If you guys want to get notified when I am streaming, hit that bell notification. And if you haven't done so already, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to smash that like button. And if you're new, hit that big red subscribe button. But guys, like I was saying, I do have 5 teams for you guys. So with that said, let's dive in. Alright, so the first team is the free-to-play friendly, or the free-to-play sub-team, utilizing Oden as our captain with a friend, Woger. So this whole team's boosted besides Law. He isn't, but he's very good because he gets around attack down and special binds. If you guys have the support of Rare Recruit Kobe, you can use that on Garp, and then, like, replace Law with Stussy and then try and find another way to get that 1 turn of attack down. But basically, as long as you bring a friend Woger, you will be good to go. Oden's great because he's a 1.2 times point drop booster, but the downside to this particular team is we do need to stall just a little bit. So, I'm going to fast forward until we get our Law special, so I'll see you on stage 3. Here on stage 3, basically once Law hits 3 turns of cooldown, is the time where you can actually come into this stage. Now, if you have Legend Corazon, you can actually use Legend Corazon support on Law, and that way, you can just get around the bind as well. However, I am keeping this free-to-play friendly, so we do have to sort of just cop the first turn, and that way, we can remove the bind and just stall that out. But like I said, if you have Corazon, Corazon's a great unit there, because he can actually just remove the 2 turns of bind, which is very, very nice. You can use the Garb special there, as you saw. It doesn't really do anything now that I'm actually looking at it, because, like, no one really makes strength orbs matching. Oh my god, Stump, you need to, like, focus. There we go. But with the switchability of Woger, we can actually just take out this lackey. Easy peasy. He is an int unit, so ideally start as Roger, so you can switch into Whitebeard. On to the next stage, we come up against Garb. Now, Garb gives us 4 turns of attack down, and he gives us 4 turns of special bind, full board of bomb orbs, and he actually locks them. So this is where Law is really, really good. Law's going to remove the special bind, he's going to remove the attack down, and he's going to give us an attack buff to our Cerebrals and Slashes. We can then switch into our Roger, so that way we have type advantage, and we give ourselves an orb buff as well, and then we can use the the Garp special and then the Sengoku special. They are amazing for this particular stage because they are actually going to wipe away the bomb orbs and give us a chain coefficient buff, provided you start with that Garp special. After that, we're just going to attack. We have a lot of damage here thanks to literally just our friend Captain Roger, and as you can see, we can easy peasy clap that stage, no issues whatsoever. Moving on to the final stage, we come up against Sengoku. Now, Sengoku has 2 options here. He either stays an int character or he turns into a Psy. And depending on which one he turns into, he either gives you a 1.1 times attack buff or a 1.1 times orb buff. The idea here is to bring a friend captain Woger, and then he also despairs you for 10 turns only on your friend captain. You also get like 3 turns of paralysis as well. So this is where utilizing this Nami special is very, very good. Nami's actually going to remove the paralysis. We can then use our Oden special to give us an orb buff. If you already got the orb buff, the 1.1, when you switch into Whitebeard, it is going to be really, really nice because you can actually get the color affinity there as well. You don't have to switch into Whitebeard to get the color affinity, but like it does work quite nicely. Remember that you do only have a orb boost to Slashes, so that is something to note. And this team actually works better if you are coming up against the int variation, unfortunately. But nevertheless, we should. I actually think. One sec. Alright, so with the Psy variation, I'm actually thinking it's probably a little bit better to just say don't worry about the color affinity, and then just use the Roger special to turn that tiny attack buff into a 3 times attack buff and still have color affinity with the final tap. I think that's going to do much better than what you originally saw, so just be very, very careful when you do come up against the Psy variation. As I mentioned, this team does work a little bit nicer against the Int variation, but nevertheless, with the final tap of Woger, as you guys will see here, we just get so much damage, even with a level 1. We can say goodbye to Mr. Sengoku. So that was the free-to-play subs, the free-to-play supports with Oden as a captain. Free-to-play friendly, always nice to see. Let's move on to the next team now. Oh, before we actually move on to the next team, this team actually gives you a 4.47, I think, buff. Yeah, 4.47, which is actually very, very nice. If you guys don't have Oden, you can use like V1 Straw Hats as captain and then bring Stussy to make it a bit quicker. There is that option for you guys as well, but 4.47 for a free-to-play friendly team, not a bad option. Let's move on to the next team now. Alright, so moving on to the next team now. This team is another fully boosted team, and this particular team is going to give you the most drops if you don't have any of the new batch. So that's the team, those are the supports, let's dive in. Now, there is the limited rare recruit Corazon support on this particular team, which most people will not have, and I do totally understand that. But you just need to be mindful, it's not essential for this particular run to actually work. It just makes it no stall. There wasn't another support that I could find to remove Bind, so Corazon was the only option. If you can think of anyone else for this particular team, like, go for gold. But the thing with this particular team is Marco and Jozu aren't getting boosted, but on the boosted list, there's really not that many other options to get around Attack Down or Special Bind unless you got lucky and you pulled Rayleigh and Gaban. You do have the Straw Hats as well. Straw Hats are another option. They can remove 5 turns and ever any debuff, obviously. But other than that, you are kind of stuck with these 2 units and these 2 units only. You do have the free-to-play Nami, as you guys saw in the free-to-play friendly team. She is another option, but there's just not that many really good units that can get around the special one and the attack down. So the fact that these units aren't boosted doesn't matter. But like I said, you definitely could replace what's his name, Marco, with the Nami, but you will have to come into this particular stage as Roger. That's very, very important. On this stage against Garp, he gives us a full board of block orbs. He gives us 4 turns of attack down and 4 turns of special blind. This is where the Marco is great. This is where the Jozu is really, really good. And once again, this is where the Garp and the Sengoku shine. You want to use the Garp special first. That way your friend captain gets a strength orb. Then you can use the Sengoku special. You get the chain boundary effect. And then you can just switch with your Woger to give some more damage. And from there, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Bob's your uncle. We should be able to say see you later to Garp. If you want more damage, you can put the support of Jinbei on Garp. But like you see there, like, it is really not needed whatsoever. On the final stage against Sengoku, he gives us 3 turns of paralysis. He's going to despair our captain for 10 turns. Only let us attack with 5 characters and either be an Int or Psy unit. If he's Int, he gives you a 1.1 times orb boost. And ideally, you want to switch into Whitebeard then. Pop the Whitebeard special to turn it into a 3 times orb boost. Give yourself an attack buff, and then you can finish it off with the Oden special to remove the final 2 turns of paralysis thanks to the Kawamatsu support. If you did get the Psy variation, you don't want to switch. You get a small attack boost, and as you guys saw on the previous turn, we basically just used the, I don't know why I attacked with you guys, but whatever. It doesn't matter, the final tap's going to kill here anyway. You basically just want to stay as Roger, then use the Roger special to turn the attack boost into a 3 times attack boost. And then Oden's going to give you an orb boost anyway. So it works very, very nicely. So that was, that team there is probably the best point boosted team. No stall, which is great. If you guys are missing the new batch, it is a 4.92 base booster, which is great. Depending on your drops, you will get more. But let's move on to the next team now. So on to the next team now, we are utilizing Yamato with a friend Woger once again. The team looks very similar to the previous team, and you can actually use Jozu over the Straw Hats, but I just wanted to showcase that you can use something a little bit different. But in saying that, that's the team, those are the supports. Let's dive in. Yamato's great though, because she's a Free Spirit Striker captain, which basically boosts majority of this team. The only character that's not getting boosted at all is Mako. Now, like I said in the previous run, you can replace Mako with the free-to-play Nami, but if you do that, you need to make sure that you move into the 4th stage as Roger, which can be a little bit annoying because Whitebeard is the one that's like, well, Roger is the best sort of character to take down that particular stage, and then you're going to lose out on that switch ability. So it is a little bit janky there, but if you have Mako, you will be in good stead. This team does use the Sengoku and Garp once again, so make sure to farm them up, get your hands on them. You can run the easy stamina to actually pick them up nice and early. We do get blinded on stage 3, but Yamato is great because she just removes that with her amazing captain ability. And then from there, we should just be able to take out this lackey with the switch ability of Woger. As I mentioned, Woger is just so good for this event. It was just built for him. And the fact they like catered to it just being a friend captain was very, very kind of Bandai. So I am a big fan of that. On the stage 4, we come up against Garp, who gives us 4 turns of attack down and 4 turns of special blind. Utilizing the Mako special here removes the special blind. Utilizing the Straw Hat special gives us like a massive attack boost, as well as picking a debuff that we can remove 5 turns of. And of course, we are going to remove the attack down, which is really, really nice. And then we can wrap it up with the Garp and Sengoku combo to not only give us a full board of orbs, but we can also get a chain boundary effect. Then we want to switch into Roger, so we have some type advantage, which is really, really cool. Mako gives type advantage on this particular stage as well. So Roger and Sengoku actually just hit so damn hard here that you can easily just clap Garp very, very nicely. Moving on to the final stage, we come up against Sengoku, who obviously, like I've been rambling on about, he gives you 3 turns of paralysis, which thanks to the Bardo support, we can actually get rid of, which is really, really handy. And actually, maybe you can't use, maybe I'm tripping. You can't use, Nami to get around the special blind. I think she was for the paralysis. I think I might have been tripping there, so apologies about that. But the Bardo support's great, because Bardo can actually get around the paralysis on this stage. The friend captain, Woger, can remove the despair. And obviously, depending on what variation you actually get, either the int or the size, depending on whether you need to switch or not. Ideally, you will want to switch no matter what variation you get. That way, you can get the orb buff, but this team is going to struggle a little bit if you do come up against the Psy variation, because then you're not going to have an orb buff, but you can always run the Flampe support on your Yamato, and that way you can get a buff that way. So as you'll see here though, Yamato just hits ridiculously hard, and if you get the int variation, as you guys saw there, it does work very, very nicely. Very, very nicely. The final tap of Yamato might be a little bit better if you do come up against the Psy variation, especially if you are using the Flampe support. Very, very important that you guys actually look at doing something like that. Well, actually, if you use the Flampe support and you don't need to switch with Roger, you'll have that sort of amazing final tap. But let's move on to the next team now. Alright, so moving on to the next team now, we are utilizing the Pirate King Goldie Roger with a friend, Whitebeard and Roger. So this particular team is for those guys that don't have like another way of getting around special blind. Another really good unit to use instead of Law is the Treasure Map Luffy. If you don't have Colosseum Law, farm him up. But like if you have Treasure Map Luffy, you can definitely use him with the Rayleigh support, which is really, really nice. So that's the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive in. I'm going to fast forward to stage 3 though, because we do need to do a bit of stalling to actually get there. You can actually get the Mr. 3 support on Luffy to make it a bit quicker, and then use the limited rare recruit Corazon if you have him on Sengoku. But I'm going to fast forward a bit. I'll see you guys in a sec. Alright, so we're over here on stage 3 against the Marine Lackey, who gives us 1 turn or 5 turns of blind on our captains and a full board unfavorable slots. With the Rayleigh support, we can remove that. Then we can switch with our Woger unit, and then we can easily take out this particular stage. A big thing about this is too, you need to stall to get your you want to stall to get your Aura Jackson special ready to go, so that way you can remove some paralysis on the final stage as well. Alright, so moving on to stage 4, we come up against Garp. Now Garp is going to give us 4 turns of special blind and 4 turns of attack down, so this is where the free-to-play Luffy, Treasure Map Luffy, is an absolute weapon. He's not only going to remove all that, but he's also going to give us an attack boost, which is great. We can then switch with our Woger unit. That way we can get an orb buff, use the super typing of our Roger, because we are bringing a Whitebeard technically with our friend captain. And then we can basically just destroy that entire stage, which is really, really nice. Moving on to the final stage against Sengoku, he's either an int or a Psy unit. Of course, he is a int unit. I was testing this particular team with a fully boosted team, and I was struggling a little bit, but then I found out utilizing free-to-play Garb is better than using Legend Garb. So, nevertheless, I just kept coming up against the Psy variation, and I kept getting very, very stuck. But this team's going to work absolutely fine against the Int variation, and it should work absolutely fine against the Psy variation as well. So, because we get the Orb buff, we can switch into our Whitebeard, and then use the Whitebeard special to get an a color affinity boost and an attack buff. You really want to make sure that you come in as Roger to remove 1 turn of the paralysis. That is very, very important. You can then use the Garb special. You can then use the Sengoku special. And that is going to give us a chain boundary effect as well, which is just going to mean this team does a lot of damage if you do come up against the Psy variation. If you do come up against the Psy variation, we do have a contingency plan here with our Vista unit. Vista is basically here so he can give us an orb boost and he can give us color affinity, which is actually very, very handy, very, very nice. And that way, if you do have the other variation, you don't need to switch with Roger. You can just use the Roger special to turn the attack boost into a 3 times attack boost. That is that 1.1, which is very, very annoying. Unfortunately, this team, as you can see, only gives 3.78 times points. And if you have Oden, I would definitely run Oden over utilizing the Roger Captain, and that way you can use Garb and Sengoku on stage 4. But that team's a bit janky. Let's move on to the final team of the video now. And the final team of the video is utilizing double Woger. So this is the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive in. Now, obviously, this is like the big old point boosting team. This is that big old Quailin team that is going to get you the most points. So if you have this team, you aren't going to have any issues. I do want to include at the end of the video just to show you guys that, like, this is the fastest sort of variation of the team. We were chatting away in chat. I did think the Straw Hats, double Straw Hats, was doing it faster. But having the double Woger can actually remove the bind on stage 3 as long as you are double Roger. So start as Roger and you will be absolutely hunky-dory on this particular stage. So that way you can remove the bind very, very easily. Utilizing the switchability of Woger is actually going to give you an attack and an orb boost. Should help you clear this stage very, very easily. Onto the stage 4. Garb is going to give us attack down and special bind, which Scopper and Rayleigh is very, very good at removing. And then we can just utilize the Straw Hat special to actually give us a attack, color affinity, chain boost, and all those nice shenanigans. So that way, when we move into the next stage, we can actually don't worry about the minor attack and orb boost that actually gets inflicted. But nevertheless, because we're using 2 Wogers, like, it doesn't matter anyway. So, like, it all works very, very nicely. On the final stage, we are going to get 3 turns of paralysis. And this is where the Shanks and Buggy unit is very, very good to remove that. We can then use the Oden special for an orb buff. We can then turn that orb buff and that attack buff into a 3 times attack and orb buff. And with that, we should have no issues absolutely decimating this particular stage here. I don't even know if I need to attack with them, but we're going to get the final tap for the video anyway. As you can see, we do a butt ton of damage. So that's going to wrap up the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Best of luck in the Blitz, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later!